Hello everyone, it is Marjoram of Sage and Marjoram back with another video. Today we are looking at, finally, my School of Sweet Georgia scholarship. I have already filmed this a while back, but life has been crazy. And if you're seeing this video, that means that I am finally on vacation after a very intense summer opera season and then no vacation for an entire month after that. So I've opened this, but I'm finally ready to get started working with some of these materials. And I wanted to share the things that I asked for and what they sent to me. One of the things which you saw on top right there, I just asked them to send me an assortment of their favorite fiber and yarn choices. So that was a surprise for me. I'm very excited to go through it. So let me tell you what they sent over. So first off, these are some fiber braids. So I asked for a variety of spinning fiber and or yarn for weaving. So this fiber is so buttery soft. I've never spun with Targi before, but I really loved the colors here. It's called Tofino Road Trip. And it's such a gorgeous neutral, and that blue. So I'm usually not a huge like bright blue person, but that color blue is perfect. And then this Polworth and silk combo. I've never spun silk either. And this is Twinkle Lights, which I believe I looked at their collections when they released and I was obsessed with this one. It's just so stunning. Like I feel like both of these will make really gorgeous yarns. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to spin like a straight through gradient, if I'm going to do singles. It's really hard to decide, but either way, both are very exciting. And then here we get into some of our first yarns. This is their Tough Love sock in 2 different shades and 2 different styles. So this first Tough Love sock, this is a really, really stunning fingering weight, and this is called Pineapple. Again, it's really soft. And this other, I'm actually not sure if this is a Tough Love sock, but it's a sock yarn blank. And so these are where you knit it together and then you dye it as one thing. So this is called Bloom and Blossom, and you can see the gradient. This allows you to have, I believe, a continuous gradient. I've never done a sock blank before, but I'm pretty sure this will let you knit up a continuous gradient. Or in my case, I'm thinking that I'm gonna do maybe some faux ikat or just some other kind of gradient weaving with it. And I'm really loving this combo for like early fall. It's just now September, which is meteorological fall, but we're getting close to fall. So I think I will weave these 2 together in some sort of twill. I'm not sure which one yet, but some twill. And that's what's gonna go onto my loom first. Very exciting. I muted the background noise, but I could hear it myself, and I was like screaming and making noises while I was opening this. Next up is BFL Silk Fine. This is a yarn that they're really known for, and I'm so excited to receive this, and especially in this shade because it is called Sage. I'm like, hello, that's half of me. And these are so stunning. I'm really tempted also to weave with this a scarf, but to weave it a twill but tone on tone, so it's just textural. We'll see. I have to decide if I'm not gonna knit something with it, as you'll see in a bit, because I did ask for some knitting materials and not only weaving materials. I'm interested in enhancing my craft all around. Okay, but the first weaving supply that I asked for is this in-delivery shuttle. I'd actually seen videos, I believe there was one of Felicia talking about her top weaving accessories. And ever since then, I've had a in-delivery shuttle on my list of things that I really wanted to purchase, but they are so expensive. And that's, I mean, this entire art form is very expensive. Fiber arts are just so expensive, and one of the biggest things that I think prohibits folks from getting started is the cost. I mean, there are very inexpensive ways to do it, but if you want to take it to the next level, it just gets so expensive so fast. So I never thought I'd be able to afford one of these until I was, I don't know, married with a second source of income doing everything, you know. But this is so wonderful that I was able to get this with the scholarship. So it is different. You can see it's tapered on both ends. I'm used to the taper going up on my shuttles, not being tapered on both top and bottom. And there's a pern holder there instead of a bobbin holder. So they actually sent me some perns to go with this because I don't have any. And I'm very interested to see how this is going to work out with my winding. I've never used one, but I've watched videos on how you're supposed to wind them together. So I think I'll be okay. I'm a little nervous to use it, but I'm also excited because, as you can see, there's a mechanism at one end that lightly tensions the yarn. There I'm comparing. You can see the difference. It's also huge compared to like what I'm used to. These bobbins are really small. I think they're 4-inch bobbins. And this is a gigantic pern. I am excited though, because I think it can hold more. And the shuttle itself is a little bit larger, so it'll make it easier for me. Like, it'll be so easy to do a scarf. Like, I'll basically on my table loom be handing it to myself without having to throw it as much. Anyways, so that is the in-delivery shuttle. It's a Schacht as well. I do have one of their open bottom shuttles that I'm using. That's like my go-to. And then I have a handy woman shuttle that is my other shuttle right now. So it's so exciting. Like, I finally have 3 shuttles. I never thought that I would have more than 2 for a long time. Okay, so now we're getting into some knitting accessories. Like I mentioned, I wanted to use the scholarship to enhance my fiber arts all around. And I recently participated in the knitting lace study group that was early spring, late winter in 2022. So I asked for specifically some bamboo needles. These are ChiaoGoos, my first ChiaoGoos. I've never really invested in knitting because I didn't think that I was good enough at knitting, especially with circular needles. But I did a project in lace on circular needles specifically. And so I asked for 3 circular needles and 2 of the cables that go with them. And I asked specifically for bamboo because I have sensory issues with the metal. I can't deal with the sound of the scraping or the clacking. I noticed some people that's like good ASMR for them and they really enjoy it and they like the slickness. I am still not entirely confident. Like, I feel like I could knit any lace pattern if you give it to me and I have time, but I'm not confident in things not slipping around or moving too much. Bamboo just has that right amount of grip for me. Right now I have an interchangeable set, I think of 3 or 4 different sizes of driftwood that I just ordered on Amazon a long time ago. And they're okay. They have a nice amount of grip. And so I've grown used to working with wooden needles. So I'm excited to use the bamboo. I'm listening to myself talk. I was so excited, and I still am so excited because it's just like, it was really like Christmas in July for me. So this is another item that I got. It says Coco Knits, which is the company, and it says it's a knitting row counter, but I actually had been looking specifically for a weaving counter for when I'm counting, like if I'm doing repeats and to make sure I get even numbers of rows or picks rather, when I'm doing like a border at the beginning or the end of a project, I was like, I should get a counter. I was looking at like those counters that they used to use in elementary school when they would count the kids going into the lunchroom, you know, one of those clickers. And I was like, hold on, they have knitting counters. Why not just use it for weaving? I think that a lot of supplies are interchangeable. And so that's why I got a bunch of these Cocoa Knits items. This is a maker's board, I believe is what it's called. And you'll see there are magnets inside. It almost looks like an iPad case, and it can stand up like one as well. But you can put your weaving chart on it. For me, I'm planning on doing that. You can also put your knitting charts, or I should say weaving draft. Let me use the right terminology. But I love that it comes with these different magnets, and these are some accessories that I asked for with it. This has a couple of different things that I think will be useful for going, you know, when I'm doing a weaving draft, going from one pick to the next, or when going through knitting. There is a ruler, so I can use this both as quick access to check how my size is going on the loom, but also I can use them as straight edges to follow along the drafts. So that was my thought process. I was like, I can get something that can be used for multiple fiber arts. And I'm very excited to start using this. I love my iPad and I love having access to digital copies of things, but I also really like working from a physical draft. I often write on my weaving drafts. I often make changes. Like if I'm using someone else's draft, I never really do it the same exact way. I try to find some way to personalize the pattern or change the twill just a little bit, or, you know, just little tweaks. So that's why it's nice to work from physical. And then this way it'll be easier for me to do that. So here I'm opening the counter for you all. It's such a cute little item, and it's so easy. You just press the button on top to move it, and you can change them around and reset it. And I believe it is also magnetic, so I could also stick this onto the maker board, which is just a nice thing. They all work together. Okay. And the last item that I asked for was kind of a really big one. I just missed out on it because I was so busy with work, but I asked for the acid dye kit. This is a School of Sweet Georgia dye kit, which goes with one of the courses on the School of Sweet Georgia, but you can also just obviously use it as dye in general. And I wanted this specifically because, one, I love the colors that Sweet Georgia creates. I think they're able to get a really great depth of color, so it's really nice to be able to use the same products that they are using, but to find my own colors. One of my goals this year has been to create consistent dye and also to create a signature color. And so I'm very interested in working on that. I'm going to go back and work through that study group on my own. That's a really nice thing, that even though I missed out on the study group where everyone was working together, it's still online, so I can go back and work on it now that I will have a bit of time. And these are acid dyes, so they will work with protein fibers like wool, silk. And you can see, like, look at these colors in here. Like, I imagine developing my own color from these dyes and having a ratio that will be something that I can recreate. And there's also so much dye in there. Like, those pots might look small because of my gigantic hands, but they are really big pots of dye. Like, that's a lot. And even just the base colors I'm excited to use. So I am planning on ordering a huge bunch. I think I'm just going to order some from Knit Picks to start, some of their bare yarn, just to see like a baseline of colors. And then I need to find somewhere where I can get a nice supply of bare yarn that's not too expensive, because I like doing everything myself, the entire process through. So if I can dye my own yarn, that would be wonderful. You know, once I feel more comfortable getting an even more consistent spin, I'll also spin and dye my own. For now, I'm just spinning for fun and then making projects out of it. I'm not spinning, you know, for socks or spinning for a scarf. I'm just spinning gorgeous fiber and then making something out of that yarn. Anyways, here you can see the whole assortment of things that I asked for. I mean, this is huge. I don't know. I mean, those of you who are familiar with fiber arts, this is really, really huge. This is something that I couldn't have accumulated over many months to get something like this. I'm so excited to put these into use. I'm so grateful for the SOS scholarship and School of Sweet Georgia in general. I know that this is going to really enhance my crafting. I know it's going to make my fiber arts journey that much easier and less about the stress of, oh my gosh, I need to sell this scarf so that I can purchase this yarn so that I can make this other scarf so I can sell that scarf to make. Now, with these items, you know, there's less worry. There's more of just like, okay, I have something to make. Like, that's such a gift. And for that, I'm so grateful to just be able to create without worry. And for a long time, especially with that acid dye kit and with this new shuttle, I just see everything going up from here. So thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate you for tuning in, and I will see you sometime soon in my next video. Bye-bye.